Okay, so some of you were not here on Thursday because of connection problems, so you'll need to follow along closely to see what you missed. And don't forget that there's always that resource available to you under STEM Home of my homepage, where I have the recorded Zoom meetings. So you should be able to access old meetings here. Okay, so I want you to open up to the journal that you guys started on Thursday. If you weren't here on Thursday, you're probably not sure what I'm talking about. And I'll explain the template in just a second. So you're gonna go to our Google Classroom and then go to number 7, if you haven't already, to investigate what it is. So you're gonna be starting a project on the engineering design process where you will be designing and creating a solution to a problem. And we're going to be documenting all of our work in this digital journal. Okay, so you're going to need to make a copy of one of these if it doesn't make one for you already. And what you were supposed to have done on Thursday is to read and or listen to the first 3 pages. So that's pages 3 through 5. I showed you guys this on Thursday, but just as a reminder, whenever you hit areas where there's reading to be done, there will also be a button that you can listen to me reading the article, okay? And there was these 3 pages that you were supposed to read and listen to. So if you were not here on Thursday, you're actually going to need to do this first. So do not skip to the activity until you have actually gone through and read this. Because if you do the work incorrectly, I'm going to have you go back and redo it. So it's better to take the time now to understand what this first step is and what you need to do, than make a mistake and have to go back again later, because I am checking for accuracy. As far as the bell work, so someone asked me in the chat, what do you mean by template? So number 2 says, what template will you use to write your problem statement? So you are at the end of this part of the journal going to submit a problem statement to me that's going to tell me more about the problem that you wish to solve. So if you take a look at this first page, it talks all about defining the problem and what questions you need to answer for your problem statement. Give me just one second. Okay, so it says to define your problem, each of these, you need to answer each of these questions. So I'm actually going to highlight this. So I forgot to tell you guys, as you're reading, you have the ability to highlight things and make comments. So you can highlight things by clicking on this highlighter and coloring it. And then you can also make comments either by adding this little, adding a little comment box right here, or you could just add it to the bottom. Okay, so it says here, the answers to these 3 questions are the what, who, and why of your problem. Your problem statement should incorporate the answer as follows. So this is your template that you'll be using to fill out your problem statement. Who needs what, because, why? In other words, blank needs blank because blank. So this would be the template that you're going to use to write your problem statement later on, okay? So this is what you would write in your bell work. So blank needs blank because, and if I was writing a problem statement about, let's say, the first thing that comes to mind are masks that don't work very well. So the people that need improved masks would be us. Everybody needs to wear a mask. So I'm gonna say society needs masks, better masks, because ones we have right now, regular fabric, aren't that effective at preventing aerosols from reaching other people. So the regular masks that people are wearing, they're actually not that effective, and that's the majority of what people are wearing to cover their face. So notice how I have an example here of the template that you'll be using. This is just an example. So blank society needs better masks because the ones that we have right now aren't that effective at preventing aerosols from reaching other people. Oops, there we go. Okay. So this is an example of something that you might actually write up about the problem statement that you're going to write. Okay. So this is, I highlighted this because this is the information that you need in your problem statement. What is the problem? Who has the problem? And why is the problem important to solve? Okay. I'll highlight this too. Okay. All right, let's go to the next page. I'm just going to highlight some important information, each one. So in this page, it says finding an idea for your project. So it talks about some examples of things that you might find on a bug list. And that's actually the activity you're going to be doing today, is writing a bug list. So it talks about what a bug list is right here. So think about all the things that bug you or bug other people around you and write them down. They may seem like small and silly problems, but they can spark ideas for a project or lead to a larger problem that you may have noticed otherwise. So this is explaining what a bug list is. So a bug list is all the things that bug you or the people around you. So I'm going to highlight that because that's information we're going to need for later. And these here are some examples of things that you might find on a bug list. So I'm going to highlight this too. And you see some things like uncomfortable airplane seats, public restrooms without toilet paper. These are just everyday things that might pop up that bug people. Dog or cat hair that gets stuck on clothing. This is definitely something that's annoying if you have pets. So these are just giving some examples of things, but not all of these things are necessarily relevant to you because you're going to be coming up with a problem at home. And notice how some of these things deal with the public, like public restrooms without toilet paper. This isn't something that would be a good example of something that you would create. And this list is certainly not, you're not limited to this list. In fact, I would encourage you to not use anything on this list. These are just giving you ideas of things that might bug someone, that they might put on their bug list. I want you to actually tour around your home to look for things that you'll put on your list. So that's what I'm going to highlight for this section. Okay. Let's move on to the next page. So the next page talks about the difference between poorly solved problems and unsolved problems, because when you're looking for problems at home or things that bug you, sorry if you can hear that in the background. You might notice that the problems fall into one of two categories. Something that already has a solution, but it's a poor solution, and something that maybe doesn't have a solution, so it's unsolved. So the examples that they give specifically would be, if we refer back to that cat and dog hair getting stuck on your clothing, this is the example that they give. And they say that there is a solution to this problem, and that is the lint brush. Many of you probably have one of these at home if you have pets. It's like a little, basically a roller thing that it's handheld with tape, and you can roll it on your clothing so that when you get dog hair on your clothes, you can just use the lint roller and it takes it off. But they're calling this a poorly solved problem. So even though it's something that's a solution to the problem, it's not that effective. So you might want to create something that is more effective than the lint roller. Okay, so on the other hand, we have unsolved problems. So one example that they give us here was the issue of getting food stuck in a vending machine. So you might get some food stuck in a vending machine when you purchase it, and that's really annoying, right? Currently, what people do to solve that problem is to shake the vending machine or to bang on it, or if you have somebody around that has a key to the vending machine, maybe they can get you in there. But really, there's no solution. There's really no design that's been created to solve this problem. So this is an example of an unsolved problem, okay? All right, so that summarizes briefly the 3 pages that you were supposed to read on Thursday. So let's talk about the activity that you're going to do today. So page 6, I know some of you already started this, and follow along with us regardless, because I want to make sure that you did it correctly. So here's your brainstorming problems page, AKA your bug list, things that either bug you or bug people around you. So the first thing I want you to do today is take, and that's only if you've already read the previous 3 pages, take a tour of your home and look for problems that need to be solved. So go to each room and then kind of give yourself a visual, mental refresher of the space and think about, is there anything in this room that bothers me? So start to make a list of things that bother you. And specifically think about things that you could potentially solve by engineering a design for it, okay? So if it's not something that you think that you might be able to solve by making like at least a prototype, then maybe skip over problems like that. So number 2 would be to interview family members or people that you live near to find out what problems they experience at home. It mentions the community, but let's just stay at home for now. So you might want to talk to your mom or talk to your dad or your brother or your sister, or your cousin, or whoever you live with about things that bug them. So explain to them the project that you're doing. You're going to be designing something that will solve a problem to you know, a simple problem. And ask them, is there anything at home that bothers you? So if I was making a list about this, so number 3 is just to make the list in the space below. So you should find at least 5 problems. If you have more problems that you want to add to this, all you need to do is right click and then add insert row below. And then you can just do, you know, problem number 6 or something, and then write it here. But so one example for me would be, I have these, okay, so there are these no slam drawers that I have in my closet that are constantly opening on their own. It's so annoying. Have you guys ever seen those? They have these drawers that you could push them as hard as you want, but they will not slam, which is kind of nice. But it's not nice because when I walk away, the drawers, it's like a ghost opened them up and it looks really messy. Like my whole closet has all these drawers open. It's not because I was too lazy to close them. It's because they ghostly open. So it's really frustrating for me. So that would be one example of a bug. That would be something that maybe I could potentially come up with a solution for. And remember, you want to brainstorm as many ideas as you can come up with. So what's another thing that bugs me? I'm looking around my room right now and okay, I see one thing that bugs me. I see that there is this this art project that that my boyfriend made that I'm not a huge fan of, but don't tell him I said that. He's not here, so can't hear me. But I really don't like it. I don't like that it sits on top of my bookshelf. It's like weird and out of place, and I want it to be moved. Now, is that something that I could engineer something for? Could I solve this problem by creating something? I want to hear what you guys think. What do you think? There's a piece of art in the room that I don't like. It bugs me. Would this be a good problem to write down? What do you think? Could I put that on my bug list? Would this be a good example? Good, thanks, Lexi. So Lexi says no, because it would be easy to solve, right? I could just, if I really wanted to solve it, I could hide it. I could maybe throw it away. I wouldn't do that. That would be really mean. But I mean, that would be like, I wouldn't have to design anything to solve the problem, right? I could just move it. I could move it to another room. I could donate it. I could do something to it that would not involve designing something. So I wouldn't actually want to use that as a problem, remember? Okay, so thank you, Lexi. So let's see if I have another one. Okay, so I have another problem. A problem is that the trash can in my kitchen, the flaps is not flush because I don't know why. So there's like a few inches of open space. And the open space makes it smelly in the surrounding area. So I've got all these things that bug me, okay? So you're gonna go around your house and you're gonna look for things that bug you or bug your mom or bug your aunt or whoever you live with. Write a list. You have to do at least 5, but you can do more if you want. Remember, the more that you brainstorm, the more likely you are to come up with a good problem. And just to give you something to think about, by the end of the week, you are going to come up with a problem statement of your own about the problem that you eventually choose. I am going to have to approve the problem. So remember, don't just choose something that could be easily solved by not creating something. Okay, it has to be something that you'll design. All right, so this is what you're gonna work on today, is the bug list. And if you finish early, you can move on to mind map solutions, okay? But I won't preview this until Wednesday. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn my mic off, stop sharing, but if you have any questions for me, go ahead and share it in the chat. But other than that, go ahead and get started. You have until 10:15.